Hello, Barbara Treadwell here. I have given you the features of the RILA annuity, and that prompted me to give you a little vocabulary lesson, which will help you read any rate sheet that you may be given or that you look up. The vocabulary is new and different to the RILA. So it is an indexed annuity. That in itself is not new to the RILA, but an index is a curated list of specific investments that are gathered together that are similar, like the S&P 500, which is all U.S. large cap, and the Russell, which is small and mid cap, the Euro, self-explanatory, MSCI is emerging markets, and the Nasdaq. So you can select among a variety of indexes to invest in. Also, there is a term of years in the RILA, typically 1, 3, and 6-year terms that you choose for your investment choice to be. So you can move them around at anniversary dates. You can divide among them, but you're choosing 1, 3, or 6-year periods, and they will have separate caps. So cap is another word in your new vocabulary. That's how high can you go? Because one of the very special features of the RILA is the downside protection or buffer, that is, insurance against market loss. And the way they pay for the downside protection, they being the insurance company, is to cap the upside. How high can you go? So you might have a 10% downside protection and a cap of 18%. The caps are very generous. Or you may have a 20% downside protection and the cap would be less, maybe 12 or 13%. The more you are guaranteeing, the less the upside. That leads to another term, which is participation rate. And in almost all cases, 100% of your money is the participation amount in the investment that you make. However, with some RILAs, in the 6-year term, there is a bonus in that they increase the participation rate to maybe 110 or 115, even 120% at the end of the 6-year term. That's additional protection to downside protection, because if you happen to be in a 6-year period where the market is down over the 6-year period, that increased participation rate might bring you up to a positive. There's an interesting choice called the trigger. It's typically in the 1-year term, and that means that if the market is positive, even 1/2 of 1%, in that case it would show up as 1%. But if the market is anything positive, you get the trigger rate, which might be 8 or 9 or 10 or 12%. And that lasts for 1 year. It protects you. You might want to put a very small percentage in your overall investment into the trigger because it protects you against a lackluster year in the market. So that brings us to another choice that you have, which is the dual return or performance. And by its very nature, the name means that you're working between the downside protection and the upside cap. So the way the dual works is that if you're within the downside protection, let's say you're choosing 20% downside protection. If your downside is within that 20%, let's say it's 18%, then you get a trigger rate, which might be 8 or 9%. So with the dual, you're protecting your downside. Even if the market went to 22% down, you would still only be down 2 because of your 20% downside protection. But if you're within the downside protection, then you can also get a positive return. Those are all of the basic features in the accumulation product. But you might also choose a rider. A rider is an additional benefit that you choose, and typically there's a cost for that. And the most common rider is the guaranteed lifetime income rider. Any guarantee is dependent upon the financial stability and of the insurance company and its ability to pay that claim. but we're only dealing with very highly rated insurance companies. So with the lifetime income rider, they will guarantee that at the time you choose to start your lifetime income, there is a guaranteed withdrawal rate. You know what that is at the time that you buy the annuity. And then that withdrawal rate is guaranteed for the life of you. If the market goes to zero, that lifetime income will continue. And it's a very special thing that some of these products also have an income doubler. It will double the participation, the withdrawal rate, if you have a long-term care need. If you cannot do 2 of the 6 ADLs, dressing, bathing, continence, transferring, cognitive impairment. That's a very special addition, which is a good partner to any long-term planning, because if you have a long-term care need and you don't happen to own any specific long-term care insurance, this can help you quite a bit with that. So these are terms of the RILA. I hope that it helps you read the rate sheet, and I wish you the best. Thank you for listening. Bye.